Hey, what's up guys? My name is Moda and welcome back to the Mining Stacker YouTube channel. Today's video, we have another brand new manufacturer coming out with a Scrypt Asic. So think Litecoin Doge miner. This is the Volcminer D1. We do have specs, we do have like price points. So we'll look at it, we'll compare it to the others just to see how it stacks up. And we'll dig into it a little bit. One thing we did find is that it's not as brand new of a manufacturer as we think, right? So we'll talk about what we found and just do an overall comparison to see how it stacks up, right? So if that sounds good, guys, stay tuned. Let's get right to this thing. So shout out to RPM. He put out this tweet a few days ago regarding this guy, right? So it is the Volcminer D1. We can see he did list the specs, and these are in fact the specs. We'll confirm it here in a second. But 17 gigahash coming in at 3,900 watts. So pretty interesting right off the bat, just because it is going to be more efficient than the current Elphapex units, right? Both the DG1 and the DG1 Plus. And it's getting pretty close to the efficiency of the L9, right? Realistically, that would be the main comparison, just to see how it compares. And although it's not as efficient, one thing we do want to see is just price point wise, right? So even though the efficiency isn't exactly on par, it's pretty damn close. And at this point, if the price makes sense, it could be something to not necessarily look into. This isn't one I would necessarily be buying, but for potential price reductions on the other units, right? So that's the benefit again with more competition, is it will potentially force these other guys to lower their prices, especially if the sales are getting stagnant. Okay, so immediately just looking at it, one thing that kind of stands out, just quickly grazing at the PSU. What does that PSU look very similar to? Look at the 3 slots of the fans, and the way it's lined up is the freaking Elphapex PSU. That's kind of a weird one. But the other big standout, and it's something that we've mentioned in the other like Scrypt Asic videos, is that we're kind of waiting for the eventual no-name brands to start coming out with theirs later on. I wasn't expecting it to come out this early. So shout out to Coastal Crypto. They had it exactly right on par. Blue Star, Hammer, Black Miner. If you guys remember those off-brand ones, they were all essentially the same thing, and they were coming out. So digging a little bit, that's actually where this is coming from. We'll talk about what we found here. So going on their official website, which I was kind of iffy at first, but did get confirmation. Again, I wouldn't order from the website, or really wouldn't order it in general, but one interesting right off the bat is the picture that they're using in comparison to the promo that they're using here, right? You can see it's a completely different design. This is a more of a janky looking FPGA more than anything. Is this a generic picture just for now, and this is the final product? Who knows, right? In reality, we don't know, but we do see a current price point. The few vendors that do have it listed, it's also within this range. So that's about where it's going to be at. But now after digging through the site a little bit, right, because initially I wasn't even sure if this was the official website, just because, again, it is brand new. But going through their contact us links down here, we did find their Twitter. Going through their Twitter, it is a small account. It is a newer account. But you can see that they are, looks like they're going to be at Blockchain Life 2024. They do have like a discount thing, meaning they are somewhat legitimate there. As you go down the screen, you can see at the very last one, actually, they did have one for Blockchain Life 2024. The interesting part here was the discount code down here, and it's TechVia. Okay, so as we go through their other lists, as we go through other things, you can also see for sale and bulk orders, who is that website? TechVia, their partner, TechVia. Okay, so now we look into TechVia a little bit. And what stands out right off the bat? What is this thing? Okay, again, 4,900 mega hash, 3,800 watts. It's those damn bootleg Scrypt Asics, those hammers, those black miners. They all came under different names, slightly different configurations, but essentially the same thing. So this is, in fact, the company that was making them. Okay, so if you look at the picture here, for any guys who aren't familiar with those, this is a picture of the Hammer D10 Plus, which again, it came in different manufacturers. It was the Hammer D10 Plus, Black Miner, Blue Star, it's all the same thing. Okay, you can look at the specs, and it's pretty much similar. 5 gigahash, 3,700 watts. Again, they were all slightly different, but essentially the same thing. But look at the picture there, and look at the picture there. Okay, you can definitely see on the control board the distinction of it. So again, that does kind of give credence to this being their official site. So what are they clicking links or buying anything? Hell to the no. They are a small manufacturer, but it does give more credence to them, the fact that it may be something worthwhile, because again, it's something that they have been making for quite a while, right? These are from last cycle and they have been working on it. You can see here, they were talking about their 5nm chip and that the fact that they have, looks like more coming in the future. So a Q4, so mass production of that one, and an optimized 5nm version as well as a 3nm version. So there can be even better iterations in the future, and that's kind of why we were kind of waiting for this unit. Again, I didn't expect it to come until next year when the market really started picking up so they can sell this thing for a lot more, so it did come in earlier. The main reason was just to kind of look at the specs, like compare it to the L9. Like, is the L9 actually latest and greatest, or is it something that they're sandbagging with, which is kind of what a lot of people have been speculating, just because the specs weren't like such a leap ahead of the competition, right? If we compare it to like the Elphapex unit, yes, it's superior than that, but it's not that great of a jump over. And then this is kind of giving more credence to the fact that it's potential that they are kind of sandbagging a bit, right? It doesn't make any sense that, again, this smaller manufacturer is getting this close to the L9. Okay, so that's where, like, you could throw the tinfoil hat on and say, oh, maybe they are sandbagging, maybe there is going to be a L11 in Q1 of next year. Like, it kind of brings those thoughts, because initially, not initially, but primarily when I'm looking at an ASIC, especially if it's going to be something that's more a long-term thing, I want it to be the latest and greatest, and I want to be convinced that it is, right? But the fact that it's potential that the L9 is on the same chip architecture as the releases from nearly 2 years ago, because again, like the KA3, the K7, those were all on 5s. It's potential that they could have released the L9 potentially back then, but did they have a reason to? No, there was no competition at that point. Didn't we all find it kind of odd that literally the day of the DG1 Plus announcement, they came out with that bootleg tweet of the L9 and announced it? Seems like they had the chips already designed and ready to go, just waiting for production for a reason for them to do it. And they finally got a reason to do it. Okay, so again, it's tinfoil hat stuff, we don't know, but like if I'm looking for an ASIC and the main value proposition of that ASIC is because it'll be the latest and greatest for the long term for quite a bit, I want to feel fully confident that that's going to be it. And seeing the comparison with this and this guy being so close, not feeling super confident that that's going to be the latest release for this coming cycle, right? Because the main proposition with the L9 is the fact that it could potentially go beyond this cycle, right? It'll be the best one going into the bull market and potentially well after the market, right? Just because of that long life cycle that L7 had. But it seems like it's more likely that the reason that the L7 had such a long life cycle is because there was no competition, and the fact that a lot of these manufacturers were waiting till we got closer to the bull market when they know they'd be able to sell that unit for quite a bit more. Okay, so again, tinfoil hat stuff, we don't know. Potentially the L9 is going to be the only release for this thing, but when I'm seeing things like this, it doesn't make any sense that the small manufacturers between Volcminer and Elphapex are able to get so freaking close to it, right? At this point, because we know when we see new generations of these ASIC chips, it tends to double the efficiency, okay? Not something where it's like a 10% thing, unless it's like in the same generation, right? We have seen that with like the Bitcoin ASICs, where we have different iterations where it's like a 20-25% increase, and it's because it's on the same platform, maybe a different design of the chips, and that's what the breakthrough could be. But it just seems extremely odd, right? When we put everything together, it's kind of weird, right? But let's look now as far as profitability of this guy goes. And again, 17 gigahash, 3900 watts. This is at a 10-cent kilowatt hour. Mining script straight up, it's about $20 in revenue, nearly $11 in profit. So in terms of that, it is pretty good, right? It is definitely a lot of wattage though, right? It is a lot. So if you have a high electric rate, it's going to be a little tricky, right? Still be profitable for quite a while. Now, the biggest thing is going to be the price point, right? So if it would make sense to go for it if it was a significant price reduction, way cheaper, but just eyeballing the price, where is it at? $8,100. It's pretty much right at the price point of the November batch of the L9. Okay, so for me to take the risk on this no-name manufacturer that had very questionable quality last cycle, why would I pick that one over this when this guy is more efficient, way more reliable, and just in general the superior unit? For me to even consider one of these, it'd have to be significantly cheaper where I would like consider going that route. Not the case here at that price point. Even comparing it to, for example, the DG1 Plus, which yes, this Volcminer is more efficient in comparison, I would still pick either the L9 or the DG1 Plus all day over that unit. Okay, this guy is also a new manufacturer, but they have been proving themselves. But out of the three, out of any of them, it would be the L9, right? Because even this guy, less efficient, arguably less quality of a unit in comparison to the L9. Get this November batch, which again is going to be in the next month. Okay, 3 months ago, yeah, that was a far way down the road. It's going to be next month here. Okay, so at that point, for Scrypt ASICs, this is the current best price point. You can go farther down the road to go to January, it goes down to $66.49, right? So that's another option. But I'm just not a big fan of ordering things that far ahead of time, just because as we've seen, even like in a month or two, a lot of things can change between what hardware comes out, price points, different things. And it can go both ways, right? Technically, another unit can be announced not too long after, or the bull market kicks off. Doge is 30 cents come January, and the prices are 3x by then, right? A lot of things can factor in here just because of the timeline and where we're at. But it just kind of like everything is just so weird, right? We've mentioned this before, that it just seems extremely odd that like the January batch or even the November batch, that it's such a significant price reduction from that initial spot price, and the fact that it's been available this time. We've seen them do things like this in the past, but it's more of a PR thing because they sell out in 10 seconds and it's only available for that one day. It's been available this whole time. Between spot allocations, the November batch, the January batch, it's just extremely odd, right? And this kind of just adds more to like the tinfoil hat stuff where, are they going to release a L11 in like Q1 or something? Like, I don't know, right? And it just, it just increases my weariness of getting a L9 at those price points, right? At $8,000, $6,000, definitely could be worth the risk. Because again, the other thing you have to factor in is if the cycle continues and it does what we think it's going to do, where do you think the price of, even if one does come out, what do you think it's going to be priced at? Right? Remember, just last bull market, the L7s were going for what? Freaking 25, 30K. And they were selling out instantly. Okay, so that's another thing to factor in, that even if there is another unit, what do you think it's going to be priced at? Right? It's probably not going to be no $6,000. Okay, so kind of all over the place. It's kind of a weird situation, but to me, just all the signs are pointing to that there is potential for another unit to come out. I mean, again, it's just, you have to look at the facts. You have to look at what's lining up. And for me to make an investment of like the current spot price for the L9 is like 11K. It just extremely weird, guys. Even just, you know, from an outsider perspective, like explaining to somebody who doesn't know, like, yeah, it's available now for 11,000, but if you wait 3 months, it's half the price. It's like, what? 11,000? Like, it's weird, right? It's like, what do they know that we don't? Okay, or what is coming out that we don't know about? Okay, again, it's speculation. We have no idea, but I mean, just how is it that this unit is so close in efficiency to the L9? Right? It's should kind of raise some flags or whatever, right? At the end of the day, we don't know. I'm just speculating. Could be, couldn't be. We don't know. Maybe this is a fake release and it doesn't even exist, or they release it and ends up being way worse efficiency. Who freaking knows? But I mean, that's just one of the things that has me so wary. So does that mean I wouldn't get an L9 at all, or Scrypt ASIC is off the? No, it's just I'm not going to pay 11, 12K for one. I would be even worried about paying this amount for that. The 8,500, it is more tempting, but like I've been saying, I'm kind of waiting to see what Elphapex does, because realistically, it doesn't make sense that it's the same price as the L9, just because this guy is less efficient. It is a less superior unit. How low are they going to go? Now, if they do that, are they going to go into a little battle with Elphapex and they're going to lower even further? And then before the January release, like in December, is it going to go down to 7,000 or lower, or is it going to go up? Who knows, guys? There's a lot of factors at play here. It just kind of depends, but I'm just very iffy on it, right? So we'll see what pans out. Realistically, at 8,500, I think it is realistically going to be a good buy still, but who freaking knows? Let me know in the comments, guys. What do you guys think? Do you guys kind of think the same thing? Is it just me being too like weird about it or too tinfoil hatty? Let me know in the comments, guys. Please comment, like, and subscribe, guys. Thank you for watching, and I am out.